My name is Val Gay, and I have the honor of serving as the city's Chief Cultural Officer and the Executive Director of Creative Philadelphia, the city's Office of Arts and Culture. I am a born and raised Philly girl. I have played music all my life. I remember when pop first started. I was a fan, maybe slightly stalking El Sistema. And when I heard that this El Sistema-like program was starting in Philadelphia, I was super excited. And to see and to hear the young people from then to now, it's incredible. It is incredible, right? Organizations like Play on Philly are critical. While 91% of Americans believe arts education is essential to a well-rounded education, we also know that access to the arts is neither guaranteed nor is it equal. But music education is about more than just learning an instrument. Research shows that students who have access to the arts are 5 times more likely to graduate, 30% more likely to aspire to college, have a higher school attendance, and higher overall GPAs and standardized test scores. Beyond academics, the benefits are profound. Arts access builds confidence, fosters personal and mental well-being, and deepens understanding of diverse culture and perspectives. As someone whose entire life's trajectory was shaped by my musical education, I am deeply grateful to Play on Philly for 15 years of serving youth from kindergarten to 12th grade. What started out with just a handful of students in one school has now served over 3,000 youth in Philadelphia. We are delighted to reconnect with some of the amazing students that have graduated through the program and gone on to successful careers. I'm going to ask Gabrielle, Alec, and Tina this next question. Were there any core lessons from the classroom that impacted your life after pop, even if it wasn't to do with music? And then as you look back at your music education, what did you learn that carried you into adulthood?
Okay, I guess I can start. So a core lesson that I learned from pop, and this is something I wrote about in the end of year letter, was the value of the individual. When I joined pop, I struggled a lot. I was a beginner, and it felt like a constant game of catch up. And it wasn't until after like 2 years or so when I started to get solos that I realized the value that I brought to the orchestra. And that's a lesson that I took with me when I got to Penn. I, again, struggled with imposter syndrome, and I had to constantly remind myself that I was accepted for a reason. It wasn't a mistake, and that I bring value to the university. But now as an adult, like that lesson has kind of shifted for me. Thankfully, working full-time as an engineer, I don't struggle as much with imposter syndrome anymore. But I kind of use that lesson to remind myself to use like my skills and my talents in whatever space that I go into. Like I remember I have value, here's what I can bring to the table. So whether that be in like my technical work, sure I'm new, I don't have a lot of experience, but I'm able to provide a new perspective. I'm able to ask questions and challenge the way that seasoned engineers think, or just like in employee resource groups that we have at the company. I've been helping with planning volunteering events, Black History Month events, Women History Month events. So I love that this lesson has kind of just grown with me and kind of changed shape as I've advanced throughout my education now into my professional career.
That's excellent.
I think for me, a core lesson that I took was just the value of a work ethic and being committed to something. When we started, playing music, playing the trumpet, it was like just so far away from anything that I thought I could do. And I remember that first year, it was a while until they let us take the instruments home and practice. And they put a lot of I guess trust and faith in us to learn and improve and learn our parts. And because we had to come back the next day and be able to do it. And I think that's something that definitely I took with me through high school, through college, and now as a professional. But yeah, just the value of being committed to something and in that work ethic as well.
One thing I will say, the core lesson I took most of all was compassion and the heart to want to play and the heart to want to teach. This has helped me a lot as I've gone into education, and remember I had wanted to give up so much when we first started, just because I didn't get it as fast as my other classmates. I was always running around and just hyper, and my teacher never gave up on me. None of my teachers ever gave up on me. They always had the compassion and the drive to teach me whether I wanted to be taught or not. And so I implement that with my kids, and especially with special education, it can be very stressful. And to have the compassion for them is imperative, and I think that was a really good core lesson that I learned from Pop.
Thank you. Thank you all. It was great. This is for Alec and Tina. What is your favorite memory of your time with Play on Philly? Is there a performance or guest artist that has left an impact on you as you journeyed into adulthood?
For me, I think my favorite memory would be, I think I was in either 7th or 8th grade, and we performed the national anthem at the Phillies game. And, I'm a big sports fan. I ended up becoming, a sports writer. So, I've been to Phillies games my whole life with my dad, and, getting to be on the field, playing in front of all those people, and, and we ended up staying and watching the game as well. Also, when I was in middle school at Pop, Wynton Marsalis, he was a trumpet player. He came, he did like a master class thing with us, and that was really cool. He taught us a lot as well, and that was just really cool to see, a trumpet player just come to us, a very famous trumpet player come to us and work with us and be interested in what we were doing and helping us, improve.
You took mine. It was when Wynton Marsalis came to do our master class, and it was really impactful for me because we were being classically trained, and to be in a jazz class was actually really hard for me. I was always very linear, like, oh, okay, well, this is what we play. It's always on a sheet of paper. Nothing is improv. It's always there for you. So when Marsalis came, and he was very patient with us, and I had so much fun playing with him. It was just a really wonderful experience that I didn't realize was like really cool until I got to high school. And I'm like, whoa, I played with Wynton Marsalis. I was like, whoa. But yeah, that was my experience.
That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you. So, Gabrielle, what are you most proud of achieving while you were at Play on Philly? What are you most proud of now as an adult?
Yeah, I would say my proudest achievement was the work that I did in this class that we used to have called Identity, Power, and Music. And in that class, we examined things like cultural appropriation in music and things like that. And so one year we had the sort of capstone project where we were supposed to take a piece of music and do a project around that. And for that, we decided to focus on the Star Spangled Banner. And there is a third verse in the Star Spangled Banner that has a pretty racist line. And what we decided to do was take the piece and play it in a different way, have some students and teachers sing it. So we start off upbeat, we start off how you typically hear the Star Spangled Banner. By the time you get to the third verse, it's darker, we're using chains just to highlight kind of the dark history of some of the things that are like of this country and of the piece that we call our national anthem. And that kind of like set me up for like my passion for like DEI and giving back to the community that I have now. I'm on the board of the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the National Society of Black Engineers. And we run a scholarship program every year. And this is my first year on the board and running this program. And this is our first year we're able to give 3 $1,000 scholarships to high school seniors who are planning to study STEM in college. So it's just been an amazing experience, like just running this program so far. We're about to select our students to win the scholarships and planning a banquet to give it all to them. So I really feel like that passion just started through Pop.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So this question is for Isaiah, Tina, and Alec. Teaching artists are such an important part of the framework of Play on Philly. Can you tell us about your favorite teaching artists and why are they so important to you?
Okay, so I'll start by saying when we did Pop, we had a year of violin, and then they allowed us to pick our instrument. And for no reason at all, I decided to pick the viola, and I remember my first memory with my favorite teacher. Her name was Miss Naomi, and she has left such an impact on me because she showed me the passion I can have for the viola and the passion I can have for music and how far I can take it. And I remember almost every day what we would do in our class, and she also made it that our section was not just students who came together to play, but we were almost like a family. You know, I was the youngest at the time, so there's so many of the older students, they felt like my older brothers and sisters, and they always had my back no matter where we were, what we were doing. At concerts, if I was feeling nervous, they always made sure to calm me down to make sure I was okay. And so she has been my favorite teacher since I started playing the viola, and she's the reason why I've played it for so long.
In my first year, it was a little different. We were allowed to pick any instrument we want. We were allowed to put five instruments. The first one I put was French horn. I really wanted to play it. Like, my dad played it when he was in grade school and high school. I was like, I want to be like my dad. I want to play French horn. The second one I put was trombone. And when they told me that I was playing trombone, I had the meanest face that you could ever see on a fourth grader. I was like, I don't want to play this instrument. It's not the French horn. It has a slide. It doesn't have buttons. So my very first teacher was Joshua Popejoy. And excuse my language, I gave him hell. I was not I was a difficult student. And between personal life and I had recently been diagnosed with ADHD, and it was really hard for me to just fit in. And Mr. Popejoy, he never gave up on me. I remember I was having a really bad day one day, and he took me aside and he said, I'm not just your trombone teacher, I'm your friend. I can be here for you if you need me. And that really stuck with me. And even though I just wasn't like the best student, he really shaped me into the musician I am today and the teacher I am today. I take a lot of what I do with my students. I teach on the side as well. I teach music on the side, and I take a lot with my students what he gave to me, and I really appreciate the love and the work that he put in making me who I am.
My teacher is actually the same as Christina's. So he taught trombone and I played trumpet, but he did a lot of work with just the brass section as a whole. And whenever like our trumpet teacher wasn't there, we would go and we would work with the trombones. And I'm also we played like a lot of like really fun music with him. We would play like movie scores, stuff like that. I think we did Lord of the Rings one time, which is really fun. And also he had a lot of like, I guess, trust and belief in me as a trumpet player. He would give me solos, and a lot of the harder parts, and he thought that I could do it. Having that, I guess, that trust, that belief, it meant a lot to me. It made me want to get it right and get it done. And that meant a lot to me. I was definitely say he was one of my favorite teachers that I had at Pop.
So this is not on the page, but I'm just going to ask the three of you. Have you told your favorite teacher what they've meant to you? Good. You have? Good. Because everybody needs encouragement, Yeah. So to all of you, think about it. People, the fact that it takes people to do people stuff. Not very articulate, but I think you get what I'm saying. If someone has inspired you, if someone has encouraged you, if someone has had a meaningful impact on you, it's really nice sometimes to just tell them, It feels great to hear it, but it feels wonderful to be able to tell them. So, and thank you so much for sharing those beautiful stories. It's really wonderful. Okay, my final question for the full panel is, as we conclude this beautiful discussion, what message would you like to say to this audience of our most supportive donors? Why is equitable access to music education so important for the future of students of Philadelphia?
I could start. I guess for me it was just knowing that I had the opportunity to do something like this. Playing music wasn't anywhere near just like my thoughts at all. I played a lot of sports, and I thought that was it. I remember when Mr. Stan came, and he did, we all went to the auditorium and they introduced this program to us. And it didn't really, catch me when we were in the auditorium, but my mom found out about it and she signed me up for it. And at first, honestly, I wasn't that interested, but once I did it, I fell in love with it, and I made so many friends, and just I guess just knowing that somebody like me, I could have that, and I think that's definitely something that's I guess really important about this program. That's something that I carry with me.
Yeah. Oh. I think it's super clear from all of our responses today that when you invest in Play on Philly, you're investing in more than just a student learning how to play an instrument, right? You're investing into valuable skills and lessons and experiences and friendships that stay with the student throughout their education and into their professional career. Sure, we might not be playing music full time, but like those skills stick, right? So it's important to make sure that you're investing into these next generations of people in various fields, right? Engineers, educators, political scientists, reporters, right? Like you're investing in the top talent in many different industries. So that's why I think it's important to continue to equitably invest in music education.
Personally, I just want to say thank you. This would not have been possible without everyone contributing to the dream. And it is so important to have music education in this system. As I go into education and I see how many students aren't driven like we were to be in music, to be musicians, it is so disheartening. And we need people like you all to believe in us, to have faith in us, that we can be more than just a couple of kids. Oh, we can be more than sports people. We can be more than just smart people. We can be more than just musicians. We can be well-rounded individuals because people believe in us and we believe in ourselves most of all. So I just want to say thank you.
It's been talked about a lot throughout this panel, almost a recurring theme, but I believe equitable music education should be accessible because of potential. I remember in my middle school, I wasn't always the best at sports, and I felt as if I needed something to be good at so I could separate myself from other people. And I went through the same story. My parents had just signed me up and thrown me into pop, but I tell them all the time that that was one of the best decisions they could have made, because out there in a city like Philadelphia, where education already struggles, there are people out there, children out there with the potential to do so much more than what their environment is calling them to do. And I think pop is the perfect personification of reaching to those children and bringing out the potential they can bring to the world. And while I don't do music on a collegiate level or professionally, I still make sure to always play my instrument, because music as a passion is so important to have in life, and to be connected to the beautiful art that is music throughout your life is something I think everybody should be able to have.
Yes. Wow. That was amazing. All four of you are amazing. You are the proof of concept, right? We heard earlier today how amazing it is, the short term, if you will, of the dedication, which is actually the long term, because they had to practice a lot to get there. But ultimately, it's the short term. This is the midterm. Imagine the long term. These are 4 exemplars, but not the only 4, right? And that's the beauty. You get to be great spokespeople, but the beauty of being a spokesperson is that there's a bunch of people behind you, right? And so I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I don't get a chance to say this often, so thank you all so much. Thank you. And please thank Isaiah and Tina and Gabrielle and Alec.